This is a quick demonstration on how the translation workflow works in the Statamic CMS.
Let's go ahead and take a look at a test site. So these are just some test pages that are in um, the customer-facing part of the CMS. And once you install the plugin, there's a little plugin or add-on for managing translations, which would be located here. There's actually just two menus. There's an import menu, which is what you would do when you're done with the translation, or export, which would be how you kick off the process. And for this test site, we have English and then we have French added. And what you can do is just export everything. And when you choose export, it'll create the XLIF file. And by the way, XLIF is a type of XML. It's a flavor of XML, and I can show you what that looks like. It's an industry standard, and it's accepted by most translation management systems. So this is what it would look like. And what's interesting about XLIF is that it's much easier to do updates, and the reason is because you can include the source and the target content in one file, so that when we pull the content into a translation management system, we can see any of the existing content. So in other words, once you've translated the site, the content now lives in the CMS. So you have the English and the French, and when you're making updates, now you'll only work on the differential. So to just give you a quick idea of what that would look like, let me go ahead and jump into a file, and we'll choose this file, which is from the home page, I believe, or actually it's from a test page. And this is what it would look like. So you have the English here and the French here. So then those segments could be locked and they don't have to be worked on going forward. And again, this is test translation, so don't pay any mind to the actual quality of the content. It was just test content that was poured in. But you can see the advantage, because if you have a large site and it's rather dynamic, anything that's new is the only thing that would be worked on. You wouldn't work on existing translation. So let's go ahead and jump back into the CMS. So if you can choose select what to export, and you can see that here are all the pages in our test site, and then you can choose some additional options. And then once you export, you would get that XLIF file that we showed you just a few seconds ago. Here it is in code. And then here is a version that doesn't have any translation, so you can see that it just has the English, as opposed to this file, which already has existing translation. So you have the English, you see it's delineated by the source tag, and then here's the target tag, so you see there is the French. So again, that's the advantage of working with an XLIF file. Now, for our test, what we'll do is we will jump into this file, and we're going to do something super easy so we can tell this is something we do for testing. So we'll do a pseudo translation. In other words, we'll change all the content to caps, so then we import it back in. It's real obvious what we've done in terms of translation. So we'll go ahead and close out of this, and we will choose to do this pseudo translation, and then we'll also say only do untranslated segments. Do OK, and that process should run, and once it's completed, we can go look at the segments. And as you can see, all of the content is now converted to uppercase letters. So we can go ahead and finalize that document. We'll say OK. All right, so now we can go ahead and download that XLIF. So if we go into the French, we have it here. We'll download that file, and you'll see that it has the extension FR, and that's important, so then I can save it into the same folder. And now that that's completed, we can go back into the CMS and import the content. Now, one important thing to note, and this is important with any CMS workflow, you'll want to make sure to be in sync on the language codes. So for example, English can be EN, which just means straight English, or it can be EN US, which is English for the US. So you would use the same code. So whatever you have set up in the content management system, you have to have set up in the translation workflow and the translation management system side. So we'll go ahead and choose the French file and choose import. And you see it says the file was imported. So now if we go to our page and we go to the test page, you see this is what the English is. And now if we flip into French, there it is. We should see all of our content has come in. And if we just go to live preview, you'll see that the content was imported once we choose to, yes, we're in the French locale, so you'll see that we converted everything to caps, so everything was brought in perfectly. So this was a quick demo of the translation manager inside of Statamic, and if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out. Thank you.